WWA Talk Show.
We're the Banjo Bandits Variety Band.
Hello and welcome to This Movie Replay.
St. John the Evangelist.
Coming up next on CTV Sports.
Golf all night long.
On the CTV Insider.
Premier edition of North Suburban Beat.
Hi everybody and welcome to this edition of CTV Rewind, the sports edition. I'm Dale Irving, joined by Jerry Otto and Tim Domke to my far right. Gentlemen, we're out here at the local Little League field because we're going to be talking sports, a history of sports at CTV.
That's right, 20 years plus of sports talk.
That's right.
And we brought Jerry along because Jerry is, well, he's been around for all those 20 years, huh, Jerry?
Started my junior year in high school in 1989, kind of a surprise deal with my first announcing as a color commentator for a Roseville basketball game, but certainly has been a great ride, and CTV has been a real big part of that, and of course, Dale, you have as well.
Well, we're going to relive some of those highlights and sports moments throughout the years as part of this special program. Why don't we jump right in, kick things off. To lead us off, we tried to find the oldest clip that we possibly could in the archives. The expansive archives that we have, I should say. And it goes back to 1985. This was actually a few years before CTV took over control from the cable company. But it was an instrumental game in that one of the volunteers on the shoot was Wayne Powers, a young Wayne Powers, who eventually went on to start 623 Sports. And we'll get more into Wayne's story in just a little bit. But Rich Kemp, who was kind of the beginning of sports coverage in this area, the 10-city area, including Roseville, kind of kick-started it all with coverage of Legion baseball and local high school sports. So this first clip that we're going to take a look at and throw to is from 1985, the Minnesota State American Legion Baseball Championship.
Welcome once again to Group W Cable's sports presentation of American Legion Baseball. I'm Christopher Glenn along with Sam Rockwood. Sam, you've seen both these teams play quite a bit. Well, at least the first one. You've seen the tournament. How do you think the teams will fare today?
Well, this should be a very interesting ball game. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
2-2 count with 2 away. 5-4 score in the bottom of the 7th inning. There's a pitch, line drive over to catches it, a beautiful catch there to end the ball game. That's the play to end it on. So a state championship for the Jacobson Memorial team. I'd like to thank you for being here, Sam, and for my executive producer Rich Kemp and all the people in the Group W Cable Sports crew. I'm Christopher Glenn. Thanks for watching.
Well, there it was, look back, 1985. We should mention the local significance. Jacobson Memorial was the team based out of Shoreview, New Brighton. I had the privilege of actually being in that game, so I was there as well. And Chris Glenn, another longtime volunteer through 6-2 Sports, was one of the announcers, along with Sam Rockwood, longtime Rosetown Legion coach here in this area. So Jacobson Memorial from the Shoreview, New Brighton area, winning the title. So let's move on, pro boxing. Guys, of course, this was also started back a little bit before CTV, but it also carried through into the CTV years for, I think, almost a 7, 8, 9-year stretch.
And a unique time for CTV Sports, because boxing, and since then, really, is one of those sports not covered very often, so it was kind of fun to see something like that get on our channels.
Right, but we did in the beginning, they actually held them outdoors at the Venetian Inn on Rice Street, and of course we had the Rice Street Rocker, Jerry, who you got to know pretty well.
Mike Evian was an outstanding boxer. He was a world champion for a bit during his long career. His younger brother Joe was a very good baseball player at Roseville. He was a year ahead of me at Roseville High School, and it was really a great time to cover Mike's fights, whether they were at the Venetian Inn or at Roy Wilkins, and he certainly had a great career.
Right. Well, our cameras were there to catch a lot of the action, so let's take some highlights of pro boxing.
We have our introductions as both
Boxers make their way to the center ring, and I'm excited about tonight's fight. This is going to be good.
I think so, Dale. You know, these two fighters, not only are both of them known to be pretty clean fighters, which is a lot of fun to see in a sport like this. I mean, you know, you want to see a good fight, but you also want to see a good, clean fight. You want to see the ugly head-butting and elbowing and low blows and stuff. And both these fighters are very well trained and very conscious of that type of thing. I think they both give a good name to the sport of boxing.
I think you're exactly right, and they both have a lot of respect for each other.
Well, there it is, pro boxing. Of course, we covered many boxing matches over the years. We haven't covered it in quite a while. I don't know if, you know, obviously we don't have the local flavor that we used to with Mike, but perhaps we'll pick it up in the future. Who knows?
It's funny, last year when we were doing a Roseville-Hastings baseball game, I saw the last name Lacazere for a Hastings player, and it was a relative of Larry, who was a very good boxer around that time as well from the Hastings area.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Roseville Sports. That is our next feature clip. Of course, as we mentioned, Wayne Powers started with the district, or actually with Roseville, or Ramsey at the time, in '83, moved to the district in '85. And at that point started 623 Sports a few years before CTV took over. But Tim, Wayne has been instrumental, a great partner with CTV.
Yes, he's provided great education for the high school students, but what's been great is seeing some of them kids come to CTV and do some of their work here at CTV. And what's been nice is somebody like Andre Barté came up through Wayne's Rights, and now he's off to the city of New Brighton doing great things. And yeah, Wayne has been great. I mean, even just recently, he's worked with us on web streaming and experimenting on different things from their football stadium. And so, yeah, it's been wonderful having Wayne on board.
One of the key players in the institutional network in this area, as I understand. Jerry, I'm going to get your comments on Wayne in just a little bit, but we had a chance to catch up with Wayne recently, kind of get his feelings and thoughts about 623 Sports, how it began, and let's take a look at Wayne now.
And with Chris's help, and with the help of the kids that I made friends with here as an AV technician, we began to use the production trucks as it became available for it. At that time it was Group W, and then through its various incarnations from there, starting to produce some events for cable, some football and some baseball. We did some gymnastics back in the day. And Christopher Glenn was sort of the producer, and then I took more of the responsibilities. And Christopher, working with a friend of his, Carl Roosevelt, were our initial anchors, our initial sports hosts for our productions. And as we got going, more friends of these guys became involved, and we branched out and did more productions, and included hockey and basketball, volleyball, and so on. With Chris's help at the very beginning, and the cadre of kids, his friends, became my friends, became my crew. And as Chris graduated from high school, Jerry Otto joined us. And Jerry's been with me for well over 20 years now. And my friend, and ye of infinite sports knowledge. Thank you, Mr. It's just interaction and making new friends and trying things. And maybe kids who wouldn't have had an opportunity for anything else have had a chance to contribute to public access and showing the community what we do and what happens in Roseville. And it's been the most fun for me.
Good evening and welcome to Roseville Area High School for the start of our 2010-2011 winter athletics season. So Kraska will bring it down. Stolen away by Knoll, and she'll hang on. Very nice play by the senior. Schaefer gets a good screen from Favilla. Good pass inside. Nice, up and in off the glass. Favilla now in double figures with 10.
So there's a look at 623 Sports, as we mentioned, a great partner with CTV. And as van productions began to build back in that time period, the mid to late 80s, the studio sports program also began back with a couple of CTV volunteers. Rich Kemp and Mary Guy started up Sports Flight, which was the first live call-in sports program back in its day, and was very instrumental to kind of get that ball rolling. Because I know what that did is it led into another program called Instant Replay back in 1989 that we're going to take a look at. Tony Vietti and myself started that program and introduced you to a young senior in high school. It was our very first show, and why don't we take a look at that Instant Replay.
So I'll take that time right now to send it out to my co-host. There we see the split screen. Actually out there is Jerry Otto. Jerry, how's things going out there? Oh, Jerry. Jerry. Tony, there they are.
Hi. We're outside here and we're enjoying the barbecue. Along with me is Jerry Otto. He's our Instant Replay Sports correspondent, and he's going to be giving us a rundown on some of the scores and then telling us who's going to be joining us out here at a barbecue. Go ahead, Jerry.
Okay. Homecoming Friday night, the Roseville Raiders came back in the second half, but unfortunately fell a little bit short. They lost 33-20, and the girls' soccer team is going to start up with their regionals on Friday. They play home against Hill Murray, and the girls' volleyball team continues play for a couple more weeks at least. Joining us will be 4 volleyball players, co-captains Jen Mallon and Karen Leverty, and then 2 other really good players, Jane Sheeta and Julie Fikert. And then from the soccer team, we have the co-captains. Both have a great chance at All-State, Denise Zaver, the goalie, and Carrie Delka, striker.
Well, that sounds pretty good. If we can get some people out here to start eating, we'll go back into Dale and let him keep continuing talking to the Rice Street Rocker.
All right, there it was, Jerry Otto's studio debut. Do you remember it well?
Briefly, again, after 21 years and so many broadcasts, they kind of do meld together. But yeah, again, it's something when you think of all the on-air things that you're not supposed to do, and I did pretty much all of them, so I guess that's understandable when you first start out, right? But we had our 20-year reunion this past summer and got to see Denise Zaver and Jen Mallon and Karen Leverty and a lot of those people again, and that was really enjoyable. And again, that's one of the nice things about Facebook, to be able to keep in touch with all of them as well.
Right. Well, it was definitely a lot of good memories from that show. Another sports coverage that happened was Junior Olympic Hockey. Of course, our director today, Pat Cook, was very instrumental in getting that going. Started in the 80s, moved into the 90s through CTV's era. He also did 4-on-4 hockey too, so Junior Olympic Hockey's played a big part in CTV history.
And it was unique because it was, you know, a summertime event, and it was fun to go out there to the ice arena. That's when we made good use of the Roseville Ice Arena, that's for sure.
And yeah, the other point is, of course, back then, we didn't get to cover a lot of the high school events live. Junior Olympic was a chance for us to do a lot of live events and get people used to being live. So let's take a look at some Junior Olympic hockey action.
To take a look there at Jason Scramstead in net for Warner Stallion tonight. One of the, I think he's the #2 goalie in the league right now for Junior Olympic Hockey. One of the highest save percentages and the lowest goals against average, so he's been playing really well this season.
Back into the Warner Stallion zone now as John Housey tries to get it out. Stopped by Jay Hopia. He fires it towards Scramstead. Scramstead holds on for the save here as once again play brought to a stoppage. Gone almost 8 minutes with no scoring so far in this game.
Right now, both teams not getting a whole lot of chances to set up. They're not getting the quick breaks out of their own zone to try and free up some men and try and get past the defense. So each team coming back and covering their own zone very well right now, and that seemed to be the difference so far. Is nobody's had a real opportunity to set up but try and make the plays and make the passes to.
There's a look Junior Olympic Hockey here on CTV. Of course, one of the big things that we covered in the summer, and it also kept our volunteers cool on those hot summer days as well. But when we were not inside, we were sometimes outside over at the Rosetown American Legion, or also maybe covering Tri-City. And Jerry, I think you played a part in a lot of that Rosetown coverage in those years, in the early years.
Al Schoenthaler did a lot over at the Legion to keep that going there in the late 80s and early 90s. And then now this past year, for the first time in quite a while, we covered Rosetown against Tri-City. Great game, and it was a shutout win for Rosetown. And looking forward to hopefully doing a game or two this coming year.
That was another place that at one point we had a live hookup, so we were able to do those games live as well over at Rosetown. So let's go ahead and take a look at some Rosetown American Legion highlights.
Stepping in, hits
this
that
one's
well.
drilled into left field.
It could be.
It might be.
And it is. Nice shot, Ian Dale, the catcher.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody on base, but Rosetown will take it anyways. It's now a 2-1 ball game. That one drilled over the 310 sign in left field.
There it is, Rosetown American Legion Baseball. Of course, we've had very successful American Legion teams here over the years with Tri-City and Rosetown, so it's always been fun covering their progress and success over the years, and hopefully we'll continue to do that.
Right, Tri-City won the national title, I believe that was about 10 years ago, and my father recently at breakfast ran into Steve Graisley and Pete Widowich, two of the real instrumental people from that Tri-City Red era. So.
Right. Well, the next clip that we want to take a look at is from 1990. It's actually the 1990 Minnesota State High School All-Star Game, which was a treat. I remember the Ted Brill, the president, requesting us if we could cover the game and then also do it live because they knew it was going to be a full house. So that was kind of, it was fun to do, not only live, but these were the best players in the state at that time. And a lot of these guys, or a few of them anyway, went on to play in the NHL, like Joey Diedzik. Tommy Nevers had a professional career, I think, in baseball. He played some baseball. Craig Johnson was in that game, as well as Chris McAlpine.
Yeah, it's something we think of all four having very good careers at the University of Minnesota. Joe Diedzik, especially with the Penguins, had a very good career. Chris McAlpine getting a Stanley Cup ring and playing 10 years with various teams in the NHL. And we still keep in touch. And he and Joe Diedzik are still very good friends, and they have a hockey academy, and they also do some coaching in the Midwest Elite Fall League up at the Super Rink.
All right, let's take a look at some highlights from the High School All-Star Game from 1990.
You are looking live at jam-packed Roseville Ice Arena. Dale Irving along with Jerry Otto getting ready to bring you the Maroon and Gold Hockey Series, All-Star Hockey, Jerry, and we're going to see the best senior hockey players in the state of Minnesota tonight.
No doubt about it. The top 40 high school players in the state, or at least most of them, are all here.
Adam Roy of Grand Rapids tries to get something going. Nice pass, another goal!
Beautiful.
Headland. As the Outstaters go on top 2-0 now as they strike twice quickly here late in the first period.
Great pass from James Hillman there.
Hillman from Blaine sets up Todd Headland. Headland from Roseau. He had 16 goals during the year.
We are back as we take a look at the Minnesota State High School All-Star Game. We're going to move now into Irondale High School sports. Of course, Irondale in New Brighton, one of the 10 cities that CTV serves. And our partnership with Irondale, you know, some coverage was done pre-CTV, but it wasn't until 1991 that this partnership really took hold.
That's right, Mike Horton and CTV, you know, Mike through the school district, obviously, and Mike was so instrumental in getting Irondale really on the board with lots of programming. They had a great studio set up that CTV helped fund and get running for them. It was, we were there, you know, 10, 15 years of making good public access as well as Mike working on his with his class, developing lots of shorts. They did a lot of not maybe as much truck shoots as Roseville did, but they did a lot of camcorder work, and then of course a few Irondale games as well. And so Mike really did that whole school district area a favor, getting us involved with them and getting some sports production out of them.
Yeah, I think he was able to build it into the curriculum of the classes so the kids would be able to go out and experience doing various van shoots. So we're going to take a look at some highlights of those early years of Irondale High School sports.
They're going to probably have to go for it even if they come up short here. He's got Shores out in their left flat. He can't find him. Looking deep, and he's going for Copeland. He's got it! He's got it! Catch by Copeland down the right sideline at the 20-yard line.
Copeland's got it. Dale, that play was amazing. Everybody is on their feet waving flags, and Donatelli leading his team down the field. There's a minute 28 left in this game, and they are on, looks like about the 7-6-yard line.
So it's 1st and goal at the 7. Shores in motion. Donatelli hands it out to Harrow. He's in for a touchdown. Brian Harrow on a 6-run game, and Irondale takes the lead, 20-19.
Joining me up in the booth is Jerry Otto.
Bruce McKinney.
Bruce McKinney is also with us in the booth.
Good evening, Mike.
We have a fumble on the play, it looks like, and Irondale has recovered the ball. They recovered the ball.
On the goal line, it looks like,
Goal
maybe
line.
the 1-yard line.
That's right.
That was a big break for Irondale. Bison had driven all the way down the field, and just before they can punch it over, they cough it up on the 1-yard line.
Correct, but Irondale Knights hosting the St. Anthony Village Huskies, and should be an interesting game, Dan.
Yeah, I think Irondale, I talked with the coach, and he's saying they're coming off of 9 straight victories, and with the big one Friday night over Benilde St. Margaret's.
So I was going to say, yeah, Knights 16-6 so far in the season, but tell me about that Benilde game, because Benilde's got a pretty good rating, right?
Yeah, Benilde was #1 in the conference. They hadn't lost a game yet, and then Irondale upset them, and so knocked them down. Irondale's 3rd in the conference.
All right, there was a look at Irondale High School sports. We're going to move into speed skating now, which is another one of those sports like boxing that is unique in the area. Of course, Roseville has the John Rose Oval, and once that place was built, in working with Jerry Beck, that was another great partnership.
And I remember back when we first attempted some of those events, and we built shacks, we built all kinds of shelters for our volunteers to help keep them warm. And that was interesting. I got to give those volunteers credit, boy. They hung in there on some cold days.
As bad as the weather could be on those shoots, it was almost something that volunteers thrived on, because it was another added challenge.
That's one thing the volunteers, last 20 years have always come up when it's been a challenging shoot. They've always stepped forward and have done a great job. They really have.
So there have been a number of events that CTV has covered over at the Oval in speed skating, so let's take a look at some of those highlights.
These men are from ages 18 probably to 30.
So this will be the first heat of 2, and skating in this heat will be number 46, Andy Gable out of Illinois, Brian Arsenault also out of Illinois, Keith King from Southern California, Jason Talbot from Northern New York, and Mark Norman. He is out of Michigan. And we're underway here for the 1992 Gopher International Short Track Speed Skating Competition. This is a 1,000-meter race, which is 9 laps.
And Sanis is coming around the corner in first place.
She's skating a real nice race here. She's got to relax now and put one arm on her back.
And they're off. Looks like they both got a good start here. It looks like Josh is moving out a little quicker. Now he's got to fight that first outer with that wind coming at him.
Yeah, Brimmer is an A division skater, which makes him a little bit older than Nick Pearson, the B division skater. Of course, Nick started on the inner, now making that crossover to the outer. Bremer is, as my understanding, he's actually coming out of Texas. He is an inline skater who has moved into the sport of ice speed skating.
Dynamic, explosive, flat-out speed skating action. The world's best sprinters will tear up the ice when the World Cup speed skating circuit comes to the John Rose, Minnesota Oval in Roseville, February 23rd and 24th. This is the first time the World Cup has come to Minnesota and the only time the world's best male and female sprinters will compete in the U.S. this year. Bundle up your family and friends and make the trek to the Oval on February 23rd and 24th. A 2-day pass for the World Cup is only $10. For advance ticket information, call 628-0088.
Well, welcome back here to CTV Rewind, the sports edition. There was a look at some speed skating that CTV has covered over the years, and what was great about speed skating was one of those events that it was an international event. You had countries coming to Roseville.
In fact, most recently we've web streamed the event now, and we get lots of hits and from all over the country, or all over the world, I should say. So it's been very successful.
It's nice that the Oval is right in CTV's backyard. All right, let's move on. Of course, we're taking a look back at sports coverage at CTV over the past 20 years. And next up is Northwestern College. Of course, Northwestern located in Roseville, another great partner that began back in the early 90s.
That's right, Rich Long and the group, approached CTV with ideas of, what can we do? And we said, well, we've got the trucks, let's get them out there. And so they started out, they didn't go live at first, but they certainly got a system up and running, that's still current today. And Rich and his group eventually did go on and do live programming, which we're going to see shortly here.
All right, well, let's jump into it and take a look at some highlights from Northwestern College sports.
And at tight end, number 33, Matt Pearson.
And welcome to Reynolds Field once again. The first play from scrimmage here. And it's going to be strung out wide as out goes number 32. And the Eagles control. They lead 4-2 with 19 minutes left to go here in the first half. Melody Hosey looking around, and now she'll drive towards the near baseline. Pull-up jumper, air ball. Rebound for Daphne Walker, the junior from right around here, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now driving inside Brenda Hedrick. He tries to kick it back up, gets it to Robin Sheppy. Inside, Celeste Gorman, her turnaround jumper, no good.
Nice dig there by Northwestern as they come back with the big block there by number 13 of Crown College, Rachel Toder, junior from Perham, Minnesota, but the ball is out of bounds off her hands, and Northwestern gets a point. We're tied up at 1 in the first game. There was a nice set by Crown. That was Kelly Rockhold to Sherry Reynolds.
There's a look at Northwestern College sports here on CTV Rewind, the sports edition. Next up, of course, and I should mention, all the local schools, colleges, high schools have been great partners. Of course, in our area, we have Roseville, Irondale, Mounds View, St. Anthony, and then Northwestern College and Bethel College. The next group we're going to look at is St. Anthony High School Sports, and again, another great partner in Brian Brady.
Yeah, Brian Brady is a volunteer producer, much different than the Roseville School District setup with Wayne Powers, but Brian has been on board, oh my gosh, since the late 80s, 90s?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, he's been there through it all, and the community really appreciates what he does, and Brian is one of those guys, if we have 6 cameras in the truck, he's going to ask for 7. So he'll challenge CTV all the time technically, and puts on a good show, and we certainly appreciate it. I mean, he's even ventured into the helping pre-wire some of the St. Anthony schools facilities, so that when we do pull up for shoots now, we just plug right in, just like we were down at Target Center or something. So, Brian has done great work for the school district.
All right, well, let's take a look at some St. Anthony High School sports, an old clip and then something more recent from St. Anthony.
It's number 13 coming out. Rowan, their fine quarterback, looking over it's an I formation under the center. Kicks off. 6-man line up front. Gives it off to the second man through. Brought down, looks like number 40. By number 4.
Number 4, Jesse Kennedy, linebacker.
Brings up a second down and about 7. Pick up a...
Knights cut it off. Pratt tried the same thing. Skip pass, but cross into 3-ball. Good. Back to Sayers, the finish. Coulier. Sayers, the baseline jumper, rejected by Goodsell. The drive by Pratt and the foul. Inbound to Pratt, another and one. And Pratt can tie the game here. Pratt will drive the baseline and he's fouled.
Well, there it is. Look at St. Anthony High School sports. Some other CTV coverage. Of course, the North Suburban Beat began back in the early 90s. I want to say 93. And one of the features on that was sports segments, something that we continue today. So that show's been around quite a long time. And of course, Tim, you have some perspective.
That was one of the, when I first came to CTV, that was one of my first tasks, was organizing a news program. And so I used some of my friends from Channel 9, that's where I was at the time. And Lori Janeau was a producer, writer for Channel 9 News, and Kevin Burns was one of their on-air talents. So it started out pretty good.
So it was just another way for CTV to inform residents and viewers about sports in this area. Let's take a look at a clip. This is from, of course, Justin Surrency, who is an employee here at CTV. He did a lot of work for North Suburban Beat Sports. So let's take a quick look at a piece he did.
Being a senior in high school can be difficult for anyone, and juggling athletics and academics can be even more difficult. But here at Irondale High School, Jimmy Jerry has found a way to do just that. He's also become one of the top linemen in the nation and is hoping to lead his Irondale Knight football team to its first state tournament appearance since 1981.
You know, so he's a leader in the classroom, he's a leader on the field, he's a leader among his peers and his friends, and he's a pretty special kid.
With all the success Jimmy has been having, he is quick to note that now is not the time to sit back and relax on past accomplishments.
If I decide to take a play off, decide to take a rep off, I'm only hurting myself. So I mean, that's kind of helped me like drive myself and help me push past all the times that say, you know, I don't have to go, I don't have to do it, but I want to sleep in. I mean, it's just, I have those thoughts still, but in the end, that one thing in the back of my mind saying you got to get better just overtakes everything else.
That small voice in the back of Jerry's mind is why he plans to fulfill a lifelong dream and accept a scholarship from the University of Minnesota.
All right, we're back. That was a look at North Suburban Beat Sports, of course, a program that is still on CTV, so check your local listings. Next, we want to move into a program, The Sports Guys, which was another live studio call-in show that started back with Accessathon. And it's that memorable.
No, it's very memorable. There's no doubt about it, for a variety of reasons, but yeah, it's kind of getting the old band back together with Tony Vietti and Rich Kemp.
Darren Vick was there, Bruce McKimmey, even in the clip we're going to see Mike Hermes joined in for a little bit.
Sure. Didn't you just have like open door mic and everybody just came in?
Pretty much. Whoever happened to be in the building helped out. Yeah. So I think we did it for about 5 or 6 years as we were doing Accessathons once a year. So let's take a quick look at Sports Guys.
Ever get back to stay?
We're on. Thanks. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Cabin Fever 95 for this edition of the Sports Guys. I think this is our third.
This is our third.
Third year.
Okay, third one. Third one.
To my.
Have you turned yours in yet?
Two guys playing a friendly game of cards. We want to remind you that we're going to have open phones throughout the night. 481-9554. We're going to have trivia. Throw out some trivia questions at you, and we invite you to try and stump us as well. To my far right, we've got Darren Vick, and to my right, Tony Vietti. Near left here, Rich Kemp. And we've got a special guest to start this edition of the Sports Guys, Mike Hermes, who's the local supervisor for the upcoming Star of the North games. Mike, thanks for joining the table here.
Well, thanks for having me. You could have dealt me a little better hand.
Well,
I got a flush.
Well, there's a quick look at the sports guys back from, I believe that was '95. So a lot of fun, as you mentioned, on that show, and who knows, maybe it'll come back someday. That program kind of led into the next program that we're going to take a look at. We started developing some CTV sports specials in those early years. We had a partnership with Channel 6, Frank Quillisi, where Frank came in and did some programs with us that allowed us to bring in Herb Carneal. So we did some CTV sports specials with Ray Christensen, as we mentioned, Herb Carneal, Frank Quillisi, and Ray Crump. So let's take a quick look at some of those highlights.
And at that time, we got involved with the University of Minnesota Foundation and the Leukemia Research Fund. 3 of our Twins players died of leukemia. Danny Thompson, Vern Morgan, our coach, Walt Bond, who was with us for a short while from Houston. And so as a result, we picked that as our charity. Danny and I not only played together, but I managed him. And there was a unique story, and a kid with a tremendous amount of courage.
Yeah, I remember reading the book he put out, or they put out E6, I believe.
E6 was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know he was doing a kind of a diary, you know, on the events of his life, but I think he was really looking to the future for his family. He felt if the book could do well, it could help to support his wife and children.
Let's go back, first of all, Herb, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in broadcasting?
Well, I guess when I found out I couldn't play.
Were you a big sports athlete?
That's funny, that happened to me too. Well, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and of course we had kind of a mild climate there, and all we thought about, like from February to November, was playing baseball, and played with a few guys down there that eventually made it to the big leagues, but I knew they had more ability. But I was always kind of fascinated with a radio broadcast.
There's a look at some of the CTV sports specials we did back in the early 90s. Fascinating guests, they certainly were. We're going to move on to Star of the North games, which was also back in 1995. It was CTV's attempt at what you'd call today by trying to cover an Olympic event. Because that was kind of a crazy event.
Yeah, we went live from our studios out to both trucks on location, and we talked. It was 3-way conversations at times, and it was, that was pretty complex stuff back then, and even today's standards, it'd be pretty complex, I think.
Jerry, you played a big part in a lot of those events, announcing a lot of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the state's version of the Olympics, and when you consider how many events in a very short span of time and what we were able to cover and accomplish during the Star of the North games, it was pretty impressive.
Well, we don't have a lot of footage from that event in those days, but we were able to find some from the golf coverage over at the University of Minnesota course that we covered. So let's take a look at some of those highlights.
Now we've got Jason Berger here with his tee shot.
Jason Berger's tee shot. Where did that go, Jerry?
This is high and deep. This one's tough to follow, but it's looking like this one's also going. Oh, that one's on the fairway, and it's actually rolling back a little bit. Probably the longest drive I've seen.
And we're on the 18th green now. We've got Robert Thompson going for bogey. And he holds that bogey up. So bogeys all around there for this group.
There's a look at Star of the North games from 1995 and the golf coverage that certainly was a lot of fun, but I can't say that everybody came out okay, Tim.
That's right. We placed our cameramen throughout the course as strategically as possible, and sure enough, we had volunteer Matt Rude down behind a sand bunker, and what are the odds getting bonked in the head with a golf ball? He was okay, but what are the odds?
What are the odds?
We talked about that for a long time.
Of course, golf, another one of those unique opportunities for us to cover something different. There's been a lot of other sports that we have kind of in a montage that's coming up next. That Jerry Beck really played a big part in a lot of them, between bandy, bike sprints, beach volleyball, the Grand Prix down in St. Paul, which I think, Jerry, you were also part of. Of course, the horse Grand Prix that John Rusterholtz and Terry Kemp covered for years, as well as dance line coverage. So very important events that you know, we covered very well in those years.
We were the wide world of sports. Covered it all.
All right, let's take a look at those highlights.
Just under 10 minutes left to go here in this second half. As you mentioned, Russia on top of Sweden 5-2. Another scoring opportunity and a goal.
Oh, that was a shot. Jeez, if I could hit a 1-iron that hard, I'd be on the Pro Tour. That guy at full speed, coming down the left side, took it over on his backhand and popped the ball up high past this goalie. Russia's really having its way here. It's dangerous for Sweden to be in this spot because the confidence level's going way up on the Russian side.
As they come around, they will receive the bell for 1 to go. And it's Stewart now, Best out of the saddle, and Stewart out of the saddle trying to match him. Neither one willing to get to the pole line first. Now Stewart's in the sprint lane as they go into turn 3. Down the back straightaway into turn 3, it is Stewart. Best trying to draw alongside as they go into 3. It's Best and Stewart. Best and Stewart into the home straightaway. It looks like Tom Best over Mark Stewart.
Yeah, coming down the main straightaway. First place, Plymouth Car Wash. Second, Inver Hills Mazda. And third would appear to be T&Y Car Wash. Inver Hills Mazda coming into the pits.
On the way. The number 76, the Huffy's 28, and the Stillwater Motors 22.
Looks like they're not only changing drivers, but tires again.
Yep.
Must be some problem with one of the tires.
It would appear so. Welcome back to the final match here of the St. Paul Volleyball Open. This is the 2-man championship. On the left side of your screen will be Jim Abbott and Chip Howland, who both just won the 4-man competition. They're up against Dave Wilson and Rick Palmer. I am Jerry Otto along with Tim James. And Tim, it seems like you know all these players here pretty well.
It's going to be very important for Jim and Chip to get off to a good start, especially on the bad side. They're going to want to score 2 right away. Rick and Dave have the experience edge on them.
Up for the skinny gate. So make a right-hand turn here to fence 7, a very airy vertical. Five strides to our second combination, fences 8A, B, and C. Choosing to do the steady 6 option there to the vertical going toward the in-gate.
Welcome back here to CTV Rewind Sports Edition. We're looking back at the 20 years of sports coverage by CTV. Next up is Governor's Opener coverage, which was produced back in the 90s, and CTV dabbled in cable radio, I guess, and the Governor's Opener was a big part of that.
Yeah, and the Bemidji trip was a great example of what we were willing to do to get you the story. we went live audio version and recorded video, of course, of everything we did, and then we put it all together later for a show. But it was a lot of fun to go live, throw the audio down, and back in the studios, I believe they had some pictures that they threw on, so it was just like they were live.
Absolutely. Well, let's go back to 1996 in Bemidji, as Tim mentioned, and look at some Governor's Opener highlights.
Well, we did catch up with Dan Gladden when they stepped off the pontoon, so let's take a listen to former twin Dan Gladden as he talked about today's fishing.
So did you pull any fish in yourself there, Dan?
I think I caught 3 of them. 3 out of the, there was 10 or 12, 15 there. I'm not sure.
Who was your guide for the
Mike
fishing?
Christopher.
Mike Christopher.
Okay, so I think he's getting ready to go on K-Fan here in a minute, so.
So what was the key to your success this year?
I think it was the guide.
Yeah?
He just put us on the fish. Once the governor left, he had to find a porta potty, so they took off. And that's when we pretty much looked at the fish finder and located some, and then he pretty much just told us how to do it, and we did it.
How quickly did you catch all of them?
Well, the lieutenant governor caught one early this morning, and then we moved around, and once he put us on them, we were just catching them, and then they said we had to get back here, so, or else we'd probably still be catching them.
Any friendly bets with the governor's boat?
Yeah, we won, so now the governor has to build the Twins a stadium. Huh?
Sounds good.
That was the bet.
Well, welcome back, CTV Rewind. You heard it, Jerry and Tim, Dan Gladden saying that the governor had to build a new stadium, and I guess he finally made good on that promise.
At least Tim Paletti did.
Yeah, 14 years later, whatever.
Gator done.
Finally
Gator done.
All right, next up is CTV Sports Night, a show that started back in 1997. Again, kind of building off the CTV Sports specials. It was a monthly live call-in show where we had guests, and the sports guys made an appearance at the end of the show where we did trivia and that kind of stuff. So had a lot of fun guests from Wally Hildenberg, Irv Cross, Calvin Griffith, Tony Oliva. So let's take a look at a highlight package from CTV Sports Night.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome to this August 25th edition of CTV Sports Night. Live from the CTV studios in Roseville, I'm Dale Irving. Thanks for being with us. We have another great show ahead, so let's get right to it and introduce our first guest. He spent 9 seasons in the NFL as a player and over 20 years as a broadcaster for CBS Sports, most notably as a co-host for the NFL Today program. Today, Irv Cross can call the Twin Cities home as he begins his new post as athletic director at McAllister College. And Irv Cross joins us now. Irv, thanks for taking the time out with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Dale.
We had no desire to sell it due to the fact that, excuse me, that was the only living that we had was baseball. And you sell the ball club, that money you get there depletes, so it just vanishes on you in a hurry.
Right.
And then turn around, you get you, and your friends get you, and everything else. So we had no idea of selling the ball club to anybody.
I come from a big family. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and you know when
you got a baseball team right there.
Yes, we got it right there. Was a baseball thing, and my father was the umpire. So you know we got it made. But you know, come from Cuba, and the #1 sport in Cuba is baseball, and we practice and play baseball every time we have a chance.
When I look back now, those were just delightful.
Great team.
Yeah, we had Dino Cicerelli, Craig Hartsburg, who was, we had some of the guys that are now, Dirk Graham and Craig were both here then, but we had Bobby Smith and you know, Al McAdam and Jill Malash in goal, and Kurt Giles, who was just, we had an awful lot of awfully fine players.
Playing football outdoors back then, how much of an advantage was it for you guys?
Psychologically, probably a fair amount. I mean, the truth of the matter was we got cold too, but Bud instilled in you the fact that the mental toughness, and you had to go out there and play and be tough. And he said, you're going to go out there for 30 minutes, and you're going to be cold, and you go in the locker room for a half hour, or you know, at halftime and warm up, and you go back out, and you're going to be cold for another half. That was easy for him to say when he was standing there in sorrel boots and a down jacket and his hands in his pocket, and he wouldn't give us gloves.
Welcome back to CTV Rewind, the sports edition. There was CTV Sports Night. Keeping with the baseball theme from Calvin Griffith and Tony Oliva, we move into harmonic history.
Yes, that was a program put together that it kind of spawned off a Disability Viewpoints program with Mark Hughes and Kevin Schmidt, and what happened was he was in town talking about a new program where they were going to get the disabled out onto the field, and it was a type of program where they were going to get more folks involved with baseball. So he stopped and visited with us, and this is what we got.
Sounds good. If you love baseball, old-time baseball, and Harmon Kildare, this is a great documentary piece to look at, so let's take a highlight of that.
Last year I played with the Kansas City Royals. I flew to Minnesota the day after the season was over, and went in to see Mr. Griffith, Calvin, and said they had just fired Frank Quillisi, who was our manager, and I said, Calvin, I would like to manage the Twins. I'd been with the organization for 21 years, and the only time I had left the organization was just a few months that I played with the Royals. And he said, well, we just fired a manager that didn't have minor league experience, and I'm not going to hire someone that hasn't gone to the minor leagues and managed. And I thought I knew the American League pretty well at that time.
Harmon Killebrew now will be hitting in Norm Cash's spot. Killebrew looking down at Billy Hunter, the third base coach, looking to see if he's going to have K-line moving. There it goes. There's a long belt to deep left. That one's up. It is gone. Home run for Killebrew. Killebrew really lifted that one, Kurt. A low sinker ball on the 3-2 pitch. Let's see him go down after this pitch. The killer.
Jenkins now has the job of fooling Harmon Killebrew. He doesn't, and there goes another one. Not even the wind can stop this one. It's another two-run homer.
Was Harmonic History here on CTV Sports, CTV Rewind Sports Edition. I'm Dale Irving with Jerry Otto and Tim Domke. Next up is Bethel Sports. We mentioned another great partner over the years. It started, I think, with Kathy Bruner back in the early days. Now Kevin McEnany has been a great partner. So they've been producing a lot of sports and other events as well, like concerts. So let's take a look at Bethel Sports highlights.
Trips to his right. He's going to drop straight back. And the ball's tipped coming in. It's picked off by Ross Pedersen from the middle. He picks up one block. He's at the 20. He's at the 15. He's got a seam. He's at the 10. He's got one man to beat. Boyle, he'll jump in the end zone. Touchdown, Royals. Defensive touchdown here in the second offensive possession for the Johnnies. Tipped to the line of scrimmage. Boyle's pass, return, 25 yards.
Twins to his right. Takes a snap, a little handoff up the middle to Flannery, who's got a lot of daylight ahead of him. He cuts to his left, and he's going to go into the end zone. Logan Flannery with a 36-yard run, untouched. Great job blocking up front by the big boys for the Royals. See Flannery celebrating their well-earned run by Bethel's #2 all-time leading rusher. Last week he passed Mike Johnson, came into the season only needing 40 yards.
There was Bethel Sports here on CTV Rewind Sports Edition. Next up is Mounds View High School. Of course, similar to Irondale, we've been covering them for quite a while, off and on. But this past fall, kind of a big moment.
We hit a milestone. You know, we've done a lot of, our first live shoots and different other big events in CTV history. But this was our first live web streaming high school event. They also allowed us to go live on our channel. For the football game, I believe it was their homecoming game, and versus Hastings. And it was a big event. People were nervous, but we created a website for it. We did a lot of good work on that, and it turned out pretty successful, and more to come.
Sounds good. Let's take a quick look at Mounds View High School sports.
CTV 15 Sports presents Suburban East Conference football from the campus of Mounds View High School. And it's homecoming week here at Mustang Stadium. Hi everybody, Dale Irving along with Tim Domke. And tonight we've got the undefeated and 3-0 Mounds View Mustangs taking on the 1-2 visitors, the Hastings Raiders. Well, as you mentioned, it is a beautiful night, and of course it is homecoming, so the Mustangs are going to have a little extra edge tonight.
Yeah, that's right. They're excited, but you know what? That edge can turn around on them, and if they're playing too nervous, too tight, and I'm sure the coaching staff has done a great job trying to keep that down with everything going.
The Mounds View Mustangs, currently undefeated and ranked #4 in the state, have made everything look easy from games to one-handed catches. Veteran coach Jim Galvin knows the season is a marathon and not a sprint.
There it is, Mounds View High School Sports here on CTV Rewind Sports Edition. Now, we've looked at a lot of the games and events that we covered, but sometimes we put ourselves out on the field, taking out other access facilities, and those were a lot of fun.
That's right, the challenge, and we're pretty proud of our end results there.
And we covered a lot of them, of course, and played them back. We played the St. Paul Community Television facility a few times in softball. We even played the Volunteers in basketball and floor hockey.
Yeah, floor hockey
live
was
as well.
big, yeah.
One of the fun moments that we remember was back, I believe, in '94, part of the Accessathon.
was the softball game against St. Paul, and let's take a look at that right now.
Holy cow. This is the heaviest rain I've seen in quite a while, Lou.
Certainly is, and here we are standing. We're on, I don't know if you get a shot of us, but Jerry and I are under this umbrella, and I don't know if they're going to call the game or what, but I'm having fun. Are you, Jerry?
I'm trying to. This is incredible.
Did Shoeless Joe Jackson start like this? Anyways.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyways, a little stoppage in play right now.
Holy cow.
Well, Michelle Granger comes up and she's completely soaked. I mean,
I don't think I'm going to bother keeping score here right now because I couldn't write it down anyway. Things are too wet, so.
Well, at the end of an inning and a half, CTV 4.
What?
Cable access of St. Paul 2.
There it was, a wet game, and I can say we proudly won, even though we played an inning and a half. We did win 4-2, and we will take that claim.
A win is a win.
The hour has flew by pretty quick, guys. I want to, maybe Jerry, I'll start with you. What is perhaps your favorite sports moment over the years? And you better have the right answer.
Okay, well, I was thinking of a few.
I'll stop you when you get the right answer.
Okay. Just getting to meet so many great high school kids and see them progress on through college and some of them on through the pros. For myself, having a chance for us to cover games at the XL Energy Center was really enjoyable for me. Being able to have Frank Mazzacco announce a game with us was outstanding as well. It's really been something over 21 years to have covered as many events as CTV has and as many as we have through the school district. And you better refresh my memory, Dale.
Well, why don't we roll it? Let's take a look at one last clip here.
Good idea putting Stewart on the inbounder. Baseball pass, it's tipped. Schaefer has it. Pass, throws it up. Oh! There was plenty of time on the clock. That one's good. Roseville wins. Yeah, that's good. Schaefer and Poss both had it at the midcourt line. Poss took the shot with 9/10 of a second to make it. Here you're going to see it. That was on the other side of the midcourt stripe. And it's right in. Oh my.
So, of course, we had to just add a little promo at the end to continue, guys. Encourage everybody to continue watching CTV Sports. But that moment had to rank up there for you.
Well, I didn't realize it until the next morning that somebody had called me and said it made ESPN's top 10 highlights for the day, and it went up to number 5. And on YouTube, it's up to close to 200,000 hits. And Wayne Powers, of course, put that on there, and it ended up getting on WCCO to where some of the players were trying, or some of the anchors were trying to half half-court shots, and that was interesting. And Jacqueline Poss, who made the shot there against Totino, took her, I believe it was 54 more tries before she made it again. Yeah. And yeah, it was that was really amazing how that went viral, I suppose is the best way to put it, and it was something.
Well, it's been a lot of fun reminiscing over the years of CTV sports coverage, and we hope that there's 20 great years ahead.
More exciting things to come, no doubt.
So Tim, Jerry, thanks for joining us. I want to thank our great crew of Pat Cook, John Summers, Shannon Hunter, Kevin Schmitz, Stacy Skoog-Baunik, and Teresa Renicky to help bring the event here to you today. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to the WWA Talk Show.
We're the Banjo Bandits Variety Band.
Hello and welcome to This Movie Viewpoint. St. John the Evangelist.
Coming up next on CTV Sports.
Golf all night long.
on the CTV Insider.
Premier edition of North Suburban Beat.